Hello and welcome to another episode of the Card Show. Don't know what the stall was there for. I was sort of mid breath, didn't think my throat was cleared. I was all over the show, wasn't I? But welcome. Another we should definitely do an drinking game. We have time to say just drink. I'm trying to get better at not saying as much and living in the pause of well, maybe moving on that way. So this episode is going to be about company cards. So if you might want to listen, you might not. So just this is like a prerequisite. 30 seconds in, you might think, "Hey, company cards, I'm good. Don't listen to this." But there was quite a lot of feedback, a little bit more than usual on the last one. I think it's what I'll be using this show for as well. A bit of education, staying away from like nonsense, trying to keep it helpful. But, so yes, it will be going down these directions, and there'll be still be interviews with people, and then obviously there'll be a different direction when it comes to the elite card investor and what happens with that pod. There'll be probably two sort of different pods over there, very sort of market focused, and these sort of things will be in there as well, but not as much. It'll be more market focused, opportunity focused, player focused, and then there'll be like a special members one if we get to that stage. But yeah, this is this episode's about. So it's going to be sort of company cards around comps, that sort of stuff. So yeah, if this isn't for you, please feel free to move on to another episode. Let's not do other episodes when I was ranting about something, whatever you sort of like, or move on to another podcast. But if you're here for the roller coaster ride, let's get into it. So, comping cards, it's kind of the bigger picture that kind of gets looked over a little bit in some respects. It's like people don't get the education on this sort of stuff, I don't feel. And it's kind of a biggish deal. Um, not because not because it's like the most important thing. It's definitely when you have the education on comping cards and the whole thing around comps, definitely is going to make making deals a lot easier, and it probably help you make a lot more relationships and making them deals because of it. And what I mean by that is, if you don't understand what comps are and you go in and go, "Oh, well, I've just seen it at another table for this price, so you have to do this price." You're not gonna sort of build that relationship. You know, you know, you're not gonna probably do it to that person, and you can do things. And if you go back in that to where it was maybe a couple of pounds cheaper, it might have been, and it might have gone by then. So you got to go back and give on that card, and all of a sudden, the guy's probably might want to deal with you. Maybe he will because of the money, but he's probably not going to budge. Whereas if you politely spoke to him about comps, then he might be open to say, "Hey, that comp that's in me at that price. Obviously, I want to make a little buck on that too. This is where we're at." And then if you can't do a deal on that, if you don't want to move on comps, that's fine. But we'll get into all that stuff. Um, but yeah, comping cards. So there is a plethora, however you pronounce that word, of comps out there, coming like tools, and we'll run through a few of them now. There's loads. The top few that I use, and somewhat more than others. We'll start with 130 point. So that has a app and it's also web based. It was a sort of like the place to go for the last few years. Really, it was 130 point was always kind of good. It did a lot of the platforms, so that was a massive help. It wasn't just like, oh, is this what's sold on eBay? It would do Golden and like MySlabs, I think, CompC, all sort of stuff. It would do a lot of these sites. I think what did Fanatics back? I can't really bought now. But yeah, it did a lot of the auction houses as well. So that was quite good. It wasn't great at telling you the final price. So something might have been like a best offer, and it wouldn't tell you what it went for. So it could have been up for 299, and it might have gone for 250. But it would just say sold 29. I think he's put a line through the price, but you never know what the price was. Uh, but yeah, 130 point is a free, and that's definitely like that as well. It's free to use. They are starting up, or have started up a sort of a membership thing. I will, I will double check. I got to log in. Ugh. Let me just log in. Do I have an account? Thought I did. Yeah, because they just started some weird little membership thing. I remember seeing this. I've not logged into the app. How funny is that? Right. Account. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm just tripping. I swear I saw. Ah, here we go. Basic plan. Yes, I did do a basic plan, which is the hobby home. I knew it was something like that. Sorry for the delay there. I should have done better research, right? So yeah, it's called the hobby home. So basically, you can upload so your collection. You obviously access the market pricing of your items. You can scan the PSA slabs to easily get pricing data. Share items directly to social media. So it's not too much around the actual like car market data, I suppose, which is good. So it's obviously with the hobby home, it's like a different branch off, and they have 3 different tiers there. Basic, which is try for 2 weeks free, then 9.99 a month, or for the year, it's £99. English app. Maybe it'd be different if it's on US website, maybe. It might be cheaper, I don't know. And then obviously they do one list and sell items sent to our marketplaces. That's premium. So the only difference between the two there, they seem to have easy view graded values for your card, and then like a marketplace, and it's just the amount of cards you can upload. So again, for the premium, which is the next one up, 1 month, 2 weeks free, then it's £14.99 a month, cancel any time, and then is the yearly, which is 2 weeks free, and then 149 for the year. And then platinum, 2 weeks free, then £24.99 a month, cancel any time, or for the year, £249.99 for the year, cancel any times. Now I'm gonna pause because I coughed, so hopefully I didn't deafen you guys. A nice little pause, and there's not too much of a blip. But yeah, 130 point has been one of those that I think a lot of people have used, especially getting into the hobby. Is when you sort of used to hear it. You know, if you got into hobby a few years ago, before the sort of all the apps sort of took off over here. I'd recommend 130 points. To, again, it's a free tool. It's kind of similar to like using another one we'll talk about in a minute. I'll probably talk onto it next. That's too fair. It's easy transition. It's free, easy to navigate. Doesn't give you the full like breakdown, but it will tell you that you know when that card's sold and what platforms, and it's got like a longer list sometimes of the amount of times it's sold. And just like the next one, which is eBay. You know, eBay can be used for comps because you can type in the card, you scroll down this on the right, and it'll be sold and complete. Make sure you tick the sold and completed items, and it'll list them down. You can put dates as well, so you can put the dates there. So that's another one. But again, it's just that one platform. So it's very good for comps, but it's not the bigger picture of comps, right? 130 point will give you a bigger picture because it'll have from all these one marketplaces where the card might have sold, and eBay just to show you it's sold on eBay recently. So there's that. And everyone knows eBay is free again, so that always helps. But again, it's kind of more of a narrow picture. Next up is one called Collectibles. Collectibles, it was a different name. I can't remember what it's called now. It used to be better, in my opinion, than it is now. It's because it is collectibles. It has everything on there that is collectible, pretty much, from Funkos, all that jazz. It does have a sort of history data on there as well, which kind of helps a lot more. Gone down the sort of repacks. Do you have a little community thing on there as well, like a community app, so you can sort of interact with the community that way as well? And I don't think you can sell on there though, so you can't like interact and have like a shop on there. So I think people can message to buy cards, but I don't know how. I think it's then linked to another source. I don't think there's like a very swap built into it like that, which an app should do really. Should combine. Be kind of cool. There's I think it's Mantle. It's kind of like that. It's kind of it's like a community app, but has like a marketplace on there, which is kind of cool. But again, it's not really for comping cards. And then I think I'm going to skip one for us now and go to the next one. which is kind of a bit big at the moment in the UK, but I think it's definitely having its time. I am not the biggest fan. I know a lot of people are, and that is Card Ladder. Um, I just find Card Ladder not as I don't want to say in depth. I don't know. I just don't find it the best. I think it's obviously it's owned now by the people who own PSA, the collectors universe it is. They own it as well, or PSA own it, and you can get it as add-on um, to your PSA subscription. It's good. It's kind of clunky. I find I don't know. It seems I don't find it as easy. Like the easiest UI, no sort of user interface. Yeah, I've had it a few times. It's just not. I just can't. I just can't get into it. But again, has a lot of the tools you need when looking for comps. Not the easiest, in my opinion, to sort of search for certain cards, though. Hence why it's not my favorite. But a lot of people seem to like it. Maybe I'm just not spending enough time on it to sort of really get to know it. There we go. Next, in an unbiased way, because obviously I am a Market Movers affiliate. So if you do want a discount on this next one, use the code Mahomes. You get a 20% discount on any package you choose for life. I didn't pause, and I might have definitely just. I'm sorry. I apologize. So Market Movers, I've been a member of now for 3+ years, 4+ years. Big fan of it. I think it's just kind of like the easiest, the cleanest to use so far, I'd say. Hence why I'd signed up to be an affiliate, because I was like, hey, this can help a lot of people. So, yeah, if I can help spread the word, then great. And obviously get people a discount. And they do a kickback for the channel, which obviously helps as well. I'm always going to be honest with that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't try to do it with stuff that I didn't actually generally believe in or think had helped. So Market Movers is one that I had tried, tested. I have actually missed one as well. I've just realised, or missed two, but I'll go back to them. We're already on Market Movers now. Yeah, it's one that I've found sort of the easiest, because you know to use, and quite a good depth of different options in there, whether it be the market pulse, deals, the actual graphs and data for X amount of time, like whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year, all time. They have a large catalog of cards. They do different grading companies as well, whereas obviously with Card Ladder and it's heavily PSA. Obviously now it's GC. I reckon soon it'll be Beckett because of who owns them and who's bought who. But yeah, so yeah, I've just always been a fan of Market Movers. Some people don't like it because of Jeff Wilson. That's on them. But as an app for company cards, very easy to use, and yeah, you can get a discount using code Mahomes. So why not? That's a way. One I did forget about was Alt. Alt is also easy to use. I couldn't actually say how good I've used it quite a few times, but it shows for comps. I've never like gone into it properly. Like I've used Market Movers Data Dive. I've used Card Ladder for a bit for that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, I've never used Alt for like a big in-depth check, but for checking a card there and then, very good, very useful. Price is kind of a bit wishy-washy, a bit over the show a little bit. They tend to do a bit like Card Ladder as well, where it's like, we value this card at, which is, I don't really think it helps, because if you're a seller of the card and someone's telling you, oh, the last few comps are at like 70, 75, 77, it kind of shows a little trajectory as maybe this guy's going up, he's in demand, there's obviously, he's da-da-da. And then these other apps that sort of guesstimate, they sort of, oh, well, we value this card at like $68. It's kind of like, well, this guy's an upward trajectory, maybe he's done something in the sport, da-da-da. So I'm not overly keen on that sort of stuff, but it's in there. Again, Alt is also free. It does have a marketplace on there as well. I think they might have a paid subscription as well, but yeah. I might do stuff more in depth and new stuff in the future, but this is just some tools. So, the meat and bones. But yeah. And then last but not least, one that I've got into last year and a half, I say maybe. I never had the paid subscription. I'm intending to do a trial soon with them, and then do a year because I think it's like £100 for the year. Is Card Hedge, and the reason I like Card Hedge is because they massively integrated with AI. So I've seen the app change over the last year and a half, and they keep adding new features. So been a big fan of it so far. I will have a better in-depth sort of feel for it in the future. So I might said hence why I might do a more in-depth on these things and these apps to help people comp. But so far I'm enjoying it. It's a very nice, easy app, very fluid. The keep improving it, which is a massive plus. And again, it's very similar to market movers as well. Maybe a little bit, I say a little bit tricky, not tricky, but yeah, a little bit different. But we're closest to it, and it has a good range on it. So there are some of the tools that you can use, but just having the tools themselves don't always sort of amount to getting comps and getting a deal done. Sometimes there is no comps. If it's a new product, for instance, if it's a very low numbered card. And what these tools could help do though is help you find similar cards, right? So if it's let's say it's a really rare card. So let's say it's a one of one. So one of one, flawless, okay? And it's from 2025. It's Patrick Mahomes. You obviously can look at the year before. There could be variants where obviously he's signed and not signed, but if it's a similar sort of card, then you can look at last year's, see what the price was that when it first came out, where it's at now, and it'll help you gauge for a price. And then also, it's whatever you're comfortable to pay for it and what the seller is comfortable paying at. That's the most important thing, right? You both have to be comfortable. The seller has to be comfortable at the selling point, but also the buyer, you have to be comfortable at the buying point, So never forget those sort of things. Okay, bear that in mind. When you have these sort of low number cards, it is difficult, and sometimes it's just one of them where you have to, maybe one of you just end up losing out on that scenario, but that's probably one of the best ways. And sometimes there's not always a clearer comparison than the year before. So sometimes it can get. Sorry if I deafened you. Yeah, it does get a bit more tricky, and you have to look for like similar players maybe. If it's their first one, so maybe you have to look at a similar sort of player in that position, and do it that way. Especially if it's a sort of American sport, you sort of say, well, this guy was the sort of the pick number one QB. Well, who was pick number one QB last year, sort of thing. You can gauge it that way a little bit. Obviously, depending on what other cards are out at the time as well, you can sort of gauge it off them if he has other one of ones. So again, these tools will help you find that. But again, it doesn't then mean that then that is the price, for instance. So the year before quarterback may not be as good or might have been as hyped. He might have been like a Heisman winner, for instance. So it doesn't automatically mean, oh, well, last year's QB was this price, so this is what I'll pay for this one. But it's a good guideline. And I think that's the one thing that people miss a lot. Like these comps, no matter what, are always going to be sort of guidelines. If you're at a show, if you're at a show, or even if you message someone online, they don't have to sort of sell just because it is comps. They're a good guideline. So you've got these tools as a guideline, and it's find that comfortability. Sometimes when it's got, I obviously I try to buy under comps. There's been cards that I've had to pay sort of over comps. There's been cards that I've sort of set the comp, and it's sort of other people bought cards similar after, and it's got a bit cheaper. It's just the way it is sometimes. Again, it's always just a guideline. It's where you're comfortable at and where the other person's comfortable at. So bear in mind. again, I reiterate that because it's the important part in this. These comps are good guidelines, but everyone has to be comfortable, like the buyer and the seller. And I think that's it as well. Like with all these comping scenarios, that all these comping cards and the data it'll give you, it doesn't mean that is the price. Just always bear in mind, it doesn't mean it is the price. You never know who set what comp, and I think some sellers aren't that transparent, so they won't tell you that is their comp. But you just have to bear in mind that hey, this is where it's at. If it's for your collection, then obviously it's whatever you're willing to pay for something you want to hold it. If it is for investment purposes, then you have to think about where is this card going. If it's already on the upward trajectory, do you want to buy in now, especially if this person has set less comps and I can't really budge on it? Do you then want to pay a little bit more? Because don't forget, you're not then setting a comp at a show. And this is why I mentioned before at a show, because when you do this deal, the comp doesn't change. The data is not going to change. All the maps I mentioned to you there, do eBay's or marketplace like Goldin, Fanatics Live. But one of them is doing card shows. So this is something you have to bear in mind as well. If it is for that sort of investment purposes, it doesn't matter as much for your personal collection, because if you're comfortable paying maybe over what the comments were telling you the card was going for, but you saw the card direct and you wanted it, that's fine because you were happy paying that money for it. If the comment said it was £70 and you paid 75, get a deal done. You paid 80, get a deal done, and you paid it because you're comfortable paying it. Sorry, again, if I deafened you, that was a big tickly cough. So you have to think in these things. Whereas if it's an investment, obviously sort of margins matter. So if the card is at 70 consistently, you need to be under, because you may not be selling for 70. You may not be getting that. You might get a little bit more, depending on what happens with the player, timing. You might only get a bit less because of this. So if you're at a show and you're not setting that comp, it helps so much more. If you're buying it online and you set a new comp of being a bit higher, it dips, there's the losses even more, right? So you're buying at a show, you're not setting a comp. It means, I said, if you can get a bit lower and people see them comps, that's where they're going to want to be at. It just gives you that wiggle room. And this is why you'll see people who will say that we're buying at 60, 70, 80%, whatever, because they need their margins too. I hope that helps. But yeah, it's a very big and broad sort of thing to talk about comping cards. You just always have to remember, like, whatever lane you're in, if it's personal collection, then comps matter a little bit less, because you obviously don't want to go broke buying these cards. So use comps as a good guideline. Use these apps, use these the free websites, use eBay to find out what the card's selling for, just so you're not overpaying to overpay just because it's right there. Because someone may have bought it for 70 and may have it listed for at a show for 120, and you might go, oh, I don't mind paying that, and again, totally fine if you want to pay that. But all it takes is look at comps. Hey, I see comps around 70 for this. I don't know what you're in it for. Any wiggle room, and they'll should be, hopefully, because a lot of people are good at people say, yes, I'm in it for this much. I kind of want to make this much out of it. Come and meet somewhere in the middle. And also, you might get his card, instead of it being 70 and listed for 120, you might get it for the 90, 95. He makes a little something. You've got your card for your collection. You save yourself some money to go towards hopefully another card. And you always have to bear that in mind when it comes to sort of personal collection and comps. Whereas where it is investment, it's obviously a lot more, hey, these are what comps are at. And if you need to cash out, I can buy it 80%, because I think I can. Well, I hopefully you should say I know I can sell it. What you're asking for a little bit more, sort of thing. So that's why it matters a little bit more for an investment purpose, because you need to have that exit strategy to make sure you have some cash back to keep the quote unquote business going. So yeah, that's how it works. Let me know if you enjoy this one, like comping and the idea of comping. Did it make sense to you? The comping apps. Again, Code Mahomes, 20% off any package you choose on marketmoversapp.com. And yeah, and try using these tools. So a lot of them are free or have a free sort of section. Some will offer like your card ladder, card hedge. Also, they'll all have a lot of free stuff, and then they'll have a paid tier as well. But yeah, give them a whirl, see what you think, see if they help you, and let me know. And yeah, well, again, maybe I'll do something more in depth on a few like apps, just narrow down to a few apps and do a few things like that. And really go into them. And we'll see. There's other things to talk about as well. But yeah, hope everyone's had a good weekend. Again, I'll see you all on the other side. Hopefully soon. I should be back on socials. I've been saying it for a while. I've kind of enjoyed the time off and doing things and but I have a few things. I probably by the time this is out, we have a video out anyway. Don't know where I'm gonna put it. It's like 2 minutes, like a weird awkward one. Just talking about the McDonald's cards. And yeah, I have some stuff. So hopefully get myself back on social, get back picking it back up. And yeah, all good things going. So make sure you're following on Patrick Mahomes Insta, TikTok, YouTube, Elite Card Investor, the same Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's about to go big, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. So yeah, take care, and I will see you guys soon.